Your employer is looking for ideas on how to remodel their home, and your house is their inspiration.
I don't even know where we're going with this one.
Well, it's quite simple. It's becoming more and more common for any sort of remote work to have the employer demand to put a camera that lets them see you working in your own home. So now they have a view into the privacy of your own home, and they can do something as innocuous as take inspiration from your design style, or they can look to see who else lives there, or any, if there's audio, any side conversations that might be going on, or they can look at your personal items that you own, your taste in books, if they can see the bookshelf. So there's a lot to consider here before you take that cush remote job that's being offered to you.
But it makes sense though, right? It's at the end of the day where you're being hired for a job and you're expected to work. And the job has tasks that needs to be done. And they have a right to determine if I'm paying you for 8 hours, I need to be able to ensure that you're working for all 8 hours because you're getting paid for that time. So if there's a problem with them turning on the camera and monitoring after work's done, same team. If there's a problem with them turning on a camera and monitoring before work starts, same team. But absolutely, if it's during work hours, they should, because we both know that some employees, not all, but some employees will just not do the work or outsource the work to somebody else to do it in their stead, and that's not right. So I agree with that. They should be able to monitor during business hours.
We are different teams. I do not bat for your team. That whatever you do on your own playing field is your own business. Leave me out of it. But cameras monitoring you in your own home just because it's a remote job? No, absolutely not. No way. There's no need for it. If you're talking about, well, I need to make sure that you're working, look at the productivity. That's the whole reason you're hiring this person, is to do something. So whatever that something is, you can see it when it's done. There's no need to monitor them just making the movements of their hands on the keyboard as they go throughout their day, because that can be faked just as easily as anything else. So you're watching for a different reason, clearly, and that reason is not acceptable, and nobody should put up with it as an employee.
I mean, I disagree. Well, I'd say I partially disagree. I don't think cameras are the only way they should be tracking. You said it correctly. They can track keystrokes to see if you're there. They can have, let's say, a task or watching email responses to see if you're doing that. They can do call logs to see if you're making calls and who you're making it to. They can check all those things. But yes, all of those are monitoring. And I'm saying that any company, from a small company all the way up, any company at all that has employees, they will need to track them. There's no way that you're going to put 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year, 70,000 a year into somebody's hand and not be tracking them. If your only problem is the camera, then don't take a job where they require you to be on the camera. But I think it's well within a company's right if they want to do that. And as long as they've told you and you have the option, then you can choose to use the option or not. But the company absolutely has the right to make sure, hey, in front of this computer during your work hours, I expect you to have the camera on. That seems fine to me. It doesn't seem unfair at all.
If the job is being offered to you and the camera is a requirement, decline the job. If you work for the job and they're implementing the camera, leave the job. If somehow I'm roped into this job for some strange reason that I wasn't able to wiggle out of, then I am absolutely positively not going to be held responsible for what they see me do in my own home.